Hi, my name is Skip Dillard, radio executive and former program director of WBLS FM in New York City. When BLS came on in 1974, most people didn't know it was almost the station that never was. Percy Sutton was the Manhattan Borough President, its first African-American borough president, and he had dreamed of a radio station, one that could galvanize the community, touch on issues, help get more African Americans elected to office, more African Americans employed in New York City, as well as really being able to spotlight the very best music that fit the format. The intention was to buy an AM station. AM was king even into the 70s. And so they had done a deal to buy an AM radio station, WLIB, and the owner said, "I'm willing to do a deal with you, but you're gonna have to do a side construction permit for my FM. FM, yeah, 107.5. And so the deal almost got scuttled because they wanted, I think, just over $1 million for the construction permit for what would become WBLS FM. Hal Jackson, who was a longtime superstar DJ, said, this may be something. Let's just go ahead and do it. Maybe it'll turn out, this may be for the future. After maybe a year or two in operation, they hired a gentleman, Frankie Crocker, from Buffalo, New York, to be the program director. He brought his own unmistakable, smooth sound that led to years of television, the station being talked about in movies. He had iconic talents by Higginson, Champagne, Mr. Magic, one of the very first commercial stations in the United States to embrace rap music, hip hop. Wendy Williams was amazing. She was the most talented person I ever worked with. She was one of the most challenging persons I've ever worked with. People tuned in not to hear what was going on. They tuned in to hear what she had to say about what was going on. Wendy would have information that was going to be true down the road, and it's like, Wendy, do we have to tell people about this now? Because I got my phone off the hook and people are getting ready to come up here and beat me up. But that was, well, it's true, I like it may be true, but do we really have to talk about this right now? Quiet Storm is interesting. I've had to set the record straight that it did begin at Howard University's WHUR in Washington, D.C. Many people thought it was a New York thing. Frankie Crocker loved the concept, moved it to New York, moved Vaughn Harper, who did Midday, to run it. And I can tell you, hearing Vaughn with Luther Vandross in the studio and Luther singing in studio over his records while Vaughn talked to him, and those were many moments. Alicia Keys, I can go down the list of anyone who was in that studio with Vaughn. I think that future audiences will find this station, will love this station. Whether they grew up on it or not, they will feel its significance. So many years of change in New York City and in the populace, but it continues to be a true stalwart and true brand for the community of Greater New York City.